It's Tuesday, the 7th of October 2025, and we have the big sulk, the great big meltdown from Big Baby RTD, once the showrunner of Doctor Who, famous for successfully relaunching the series in 2005, now brutally elbowed out of the production setup after a fallout with Disney and putting Bad Wolf in a pickle with the BBC. Ironically, at a Welsh BAFTA awards ceremony where he received the Outstanding Award for his contribution to drama, I'll just let that sink in, he went on the rampage again. If you haven't seen it, I have it ready and transcribed, and you'll see both in a moment. I think the doctor would have said, "Doesn't he look tired?" And oh yeah, I used to be a teacher, yeah? Did you know I'm Brendan Noble, former teacher?
Yes, we know who you are.
Hello.
Doctor, wouldn't mind cloning you. Typical Censored. Where was I? Well, since I was a teacher, we all remember the lessons when the teacher lost it. The supply teacher losing the class, the teacher losing their cool. It was that moment, wasn't it, with RTD at the award ceremony? What is he scared of? How immoderate was he as well, by the way? I don't think he should have been anywhere near the showrunner post if this was his frame of mind. Or was it down to sour grapes after losing the big gig running Doctor Who? I have clips from the series where the anger of the Doctor seems to reflect RTD's anger. Is there something in this? Was it too much of a private project, his last 2 seasons? So, we're going to have a good bit of fun tonight. And just before I move on, we had a great show last night. Absolute blast discussing the speculation about the missing episodes, announcements that are imminent from Film is Fabulous. And of course, Philip Morris, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We're all building up to it. A 1-to-1 with Philip Morris, the Doctor Who Indiana Jones, finder of Enemy of the World and Web of Fear for our enjoyment. I have had questions submitted and I'm discussing a range of topics tomorrow at 8 p.m. So book your seat now. We've done loads of work on this channel, loads of debate, loads of energy, a range of voices and great panelists. So please give the channel everything you can. Give it a hype when the show's finished. That's when you do the hypes. Give it a like, a subscribe, a repost, anything. I'm very grateful. Yeah, there'll be a rush in a minute. I doubt it. So yes, please. Great to have you. And of course, my pal's back. He's been on holiday, but he's back. So here he is. Hiya, John.
Oh, you meant me. Sorry. Yeah. Hi, mate. How you doing?
I know. I'm lying through the back teeth here. So, what's your name again? No.
Yeah.
So,
Juan.
Sci-Fi Chronicles 79, away in Italia.
Yeah, I know. I went international, mate. I was putting up Sense stickers, Sci-Fi Chronicles stickers everywhere. Florence has been redone, quite frankly, and Pisa.
Yes, I mean, this is what he says, but I'm sure it's going to be a little bit more that he had a nice time. So the great RTD Sulk, I thought I'd cheer you up. Have you had your medication ready for this show?
Do you know what? I had a wonderful holiday. I flew back, and the how can I put it? The pimple on the anus of society decided to make some comments again.
And I've invited you on, you cheeky devil. Cheeky God, I mean, the love for our fellow people.
Yeah.
Right. So here we go. By the way, I just want to say, I call it the big sulk. There is a reason, and I'll show you all now. He did say, and you can imagine RTD wouldn't ever let me interview him. He said in the Radio Times in June 2024, he said, "I'm working on the 4th script now for season 3. It's not actually commissioned. That's still up in the air, but that's the same for every TV program. I shouldn't say we're confident because that's asking for a fall, but we're very confident, to be honest. And we'll just keep going. I can't stop. That's the problem." That didn't travel well, did it?
I wouldn't worry too much, mate. He's probably adapted the scripts into his Channel 4 series Tiptoe, because there would have been very little Doctor Who in it. It would have been about LGBTQ plus, so it'll just work perfectly in Tiptoe anyway, won't it?
Well, but I have to say, you know, my job seems to be always to point out inconsistencies and ironies. And season 3's in the bag, it sounded like. Oh, is it? Hello, where is it? He's not even going to be the showrunner. So he's got it. He can't read the room very well, can he?
Yeah. I just seen Stephen Braddock's comments. Yeah, that's great news coming back about potential missing episodes. Can we please just have, when the announcement comes, can we have no statement from Russell T Davies, no statement from Stephen Moffat or any of the people involved in the disaster that we've had for the last few years? Keep your stinking paws off of the missing episode announcements if it comes.
Oh, no, but that's unfair, because this is the real RTD, isn't it?
I love classic Who.
I've trained him. That's garbage. Who? He just sent me that because I wanted him. Because
What do you mean you trained him like an orangutan?
Yeah. But you see, if he is no longer showrunner, which we all know he isn't, he can't get his mitts on anything they find, you know, like a colorized, butchered version. And we're going to talk about his big sulk tonight, and this is why Garbage Who, give him a sub, sent me the sequel to what you've just seen. Hiding behind the settee. He's a bedwetter. He panics about everything. He's a scaremonger. He's the worst sort of teacher.
You can't see the therapist in there going to him, now come on, Russell, tell us, where exactly in the room do you see Trump?
Yeah, I see many of them. I'm surrounded. Yeah, no, it's so sad. So, of course, this is hot on the heels of his explosive interview to your Manchester, funnily enough, when he kicked off about Farage and everybody else. So, remember, everybody, I'm going to show you it in full. It's only 2 minutes, and you'll see his venom. It doesn't sound like a calm, balanced approach, I have to say. So, this is the news, just so I'm being moderate. So, Doctor Who's boss, former boss, ex-boss, Russell T Davies warns of censorship in fiery speech after BAFTA win, and he talks that the BBC should stand for the Big Balls Corporation. Very misogynistic.
Well, it stood for the Big Balls Up Corporation for over a decade, isn't it? So why not, eh?
Great British cock-up. And then Russell T Davies branded king after calling out TV bosses in scorching awards speech. The writer has never been one to shy away from showcasing diversity in a series, whether that's through sexuality, race, or disability. Hurrah! And of course, all his friends came out in Instagram. Alan Cumming, yes, bravo, Russell. What an amazing speech. And Tom Cullen, a Welsh actor, said he's the king amongst us. You think, oh, gee.
So can I just interject here, mate? This is Russell T Davies basically having a pop at the higher ups at the BBC and ITV by basically saying that he's being censored. Am I correct on that?
Should we change it slightly? Everyone except him.
Yes, exactly. That's where I was going, because my view was, hang on a minute, how diverse and LGBTQ has ITV and BBC been for the last decade? So you already control it and you're still failing. That's like a football team that's got one guy in goal that's got a broken leg and you still can't put it in the net.
Well, and this is it. I mean, we've got a football analogy. We've got videos tonight. We've got the full lot. I will join the thread in a minute. Don't worry. And tomorrow night, it's a 1-to-1 with Philip Morris. So I will be fully focused on the thread. Don't everybody worry about that. But I suppose, just in case people have been busy with life or trying to deny RTD, do you want to see? Here he is. I remember, I've got it transcribed so me and John can play afterwards. But here we go. This is RTD. I was showrunner, apparently, once, and sounding calm, measured, thoughtful, a visionary.
Times get tough, TV gets timid. And you all know how hard it is to deal with compliance. And I'm not blaming the people in compliance. They work very hard and have a tough job to do. I do blame their bosses for getting scared. And I can feel it. I've literally had experience of this. The compliance is getting tough. You can't say this, you can't say that. You have to balance it. No, you don't have to balance it. It's like you can just be strong and say what you want. And I think then that is where censorship creeps in. The censorship isn't the government, isn't the authorities, it's in us. That's when we sit there and say, oh, they won't like that. Oh, you can't do that. You can't say that. And then the worst form of censorship of all comes in at home, where the writers, and I don't just mean drama, I mean writers, whether in children's or factual or documentaries, entertainment, where those creators sit there saying, I can't write that. They won't like that. They won't accept that. They won't make that. And that is the worst form of censorship that exists, because it censors an idea before it's ever been shown to someone. So now, with the danger that is coming towards us, indisputably coming towards us, we now need a world in which the BBC stands for Big Balls Corporation. We need an ITV that is literally independent television. We need a Channel 4 that is Channel 4 something. We need a Netflix that is not enough trans films in it, love. Kiss. That's a good one. But it's like we've seen in America what is happening, how the government is attacking the media. They're literally attacking people and literally suing them. And we all know in this country there are people who use that as a playbook. That is coming this way. That's a fact. And television at its best it's a beacon, it's a lighthouse, it's an emergency flare, it's a light in the dark, it is a torchbearer that stands for truth and insight and wisdom and justice, and we must not let that flame go out. Thank you very much.
Can I just say to you, what I'm going to say now is going to be possibly post 9 o'clock watershed.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for you sitting down.
All right. Okay. So first of all, the first thing I'm going to do is for all of them that were watching him do his speech. Stupid idiots. Right. Okay. And then we've got, how can I call it? Russell T Davies, the 5-star dickhead. That's what I'm going to call him now. That's it. Okay. What I don't like about Russell T Davies, mate, is the fact that in that speech, he's saying about we're seeing sensitive in the United States of America. But hang on, I'm going to actually push back on this big time now. In America, within the last few weeks, you've had a guy that was assassinated by someone that was an LGBTQ advocate. Okay. There doesn't seem to be any empathy for what has gone on in that situation. We've just had something terrible that has happened in the UK in the last week while I was on holiday. There is a rhetoric that him and people like him continue to push, that they have lost the ability, in my opinion, or the right to be able to write for television or for movies, because they are very, very dangerous people, because they are not basing their arguments in reality. They are pushing a fiction, and it only takes one person to take their hatred and their rhetoric and to do something stupid. And it's about time that these people were called out big time for it. And he's also like a petulant child, because quite frankly, he's got his Channel 4 series coming up now, but he's torched his own legacy. He is to quote his novel he did years ago, he's damaged goods. So that's where we are with Russell T Davies.
And look, I've transcribed it, but I wanted to show everybody who hadn't seen it. That does not sound like a calm delivery. That sounds like somebody just slightly lost it. Like I said at the beginning, it's like a teacher who's lost the class. It just has that feel of no authority. The people whooping, as you said, there weren't many whooping. There were an awful lot of people pulling funny faces, actually going, I thought this was an awards ceremony. I thought you've just got outstanding drama. And I tell you what, if he's got an outstanding drama award, did you listen to how badly constructed that speech was? I mean, where was the great diction? Where was just to talk about TV as a beacon, a lighthouse. I mean, do us a favour. You're bigging it up. It's reality TV. It's get your kegs off naked attraction. I mean, come on. There's not many morals in TV at the moment. Don't even pretend.
Absolutely, mate. And do you know what? The arrogance of this guy to claim that he's been censored when he's taken a beloved sci-fi series that is loved in the UK and around the world for 60 plus years, and he decided to actually change it to an LGBTQ gay character to push his narrative. I mean, the arrogance of the guy is just on a whole new scale, and he is the one that you laugh at now, because he is the insane man that's shouting on a street corner, while covered in urine. That's kind of where he is now.
Censorship is his big argument. And may I say, I am going to compare his speech to some stuff that's been in Doctor Who, and you'll see the clips. And on top of that, everybody, so I hope to entertain you tonight, I also will show you a quotation from him. Yeah, I've done my homework. And I'm sorry, but everything he yapped on about the other day, he actually has denied it elsewhere. So I will show that. Just hold on around. I won't throw it all at you all at once, everybody. But transcript-wise, let's have a look at what he actually said. Because we are in RTD's dark times, aren't we? Now, you've said, I know we've got plenty to say, and I know the thread, there's politics in here, there's stuff about television in here, and there's stuff about Doctor Who in here. So there's quite a lot. So anyway, as you saw there, when times get tough, TV gets timid, and you all know how hard it is to deal with compliance. No, I don't. I've had a boss, and I know that I have to get on with it. And I'm not blaming the people in compliance or good, because you're a nice person. They work very hard and have a tough job to do. Yeah, dealing with you. I do blame their bosses for getting scared, and I can feel it literally on my tits. The compliance is getting tough. My nipple tassels are flying. You can't say this. You can't say that. Well, there's no compliance on me tonight. You can't say this. You can't say that. You have to balance it. No, you don't effing balance it. Oh, you know what? When he says that, it's to get that titter in the audience, isn't it? And you're going, number one, I hate it when people swear. Really, I do actually. Too much. In his case, it's kind of affected. But he's saying, I have to sit on the fence. You have to be careful and all the rest of it. No, you don't effing have to. I tell you what, mate, the rest of us who have normal jobs, yes, you do. Yes, you do. He's not even realist here. If he's a drama writer, he's not reflecting our lives. He's reflecting what he wants to impose on us.
I mean, again, when you contrast this with when he was announced as showrunner again, he had some of his rhetoric, yes, but it wasn't as full of bile as it is now. So you can tell he's extremely bitter, because he knows his project for Doctor Who has completely failed. He's been relieved of his duties, and he is now relegated, football analogy again, to the bottom rung in the leagues, to do a Channel 4 drama that will do reasonably well. But again, I think people are just not going to commission him to do a great deal of stuff again, because I think in the industry he's starting to get more of a reputation of a troublemaker, as opposed to somebody that can create good stuff.
I think he has always enjoyed being a bit of a firebrand. When he was younger, Queer as Folk was pioneering. But what's happened is, when you get the older professional who's trying to still be down with the kids and be a firebrand, and trying to pretend you're a firebrand when you're not, it's never a good look. Joe Chapman, I mean, if she can still come on, I'd have you on, Joe. I would, and I mean that. Just tell us in the text if you can come on. But she was in the media.
See that, everyone? He's trying to get me off already. He's trying to replace me with Joe. You see what's happening here? 1 week away.
Yeah, you said something about me earlier, and I didn't like it. I'm going to censor it. So, Joe, if you can, who is family viewing? Remember, she's been in the media. She knows how this works. Yes, there is compliance, rightfully. Get over it, RTD. So this was his opening gambit, and of course, You can just be strong and say what you want. And I think then that is when censorship creeps in. The censorship isn't the government. Oh, well, for once, he's not slagging them off. Oh, it's because of their Labour. It isn't the authorities. It's in us. That's when we sit there and say, oh, they won't like that. So he's telling us all off for censoring ourselves. Oh, God. And then the worst form of censorship of all comes in at home, where the writers are, and I don't mean drama, I mean every sort of program where the creators are sitting there saying, I can't write that. And you know what, John, when I talked to my source and I said, I've got half an idea for a story, if I sent that script in, would they take it? And he said no. So I just accepted. I thought, well, okay, what's the point of bloody writing it? Meanwhile, he's yapping away there. How many shows is he making? He's made Doctor Who, now he's moved to Channel 4. His voice is getting heard. So what's all this crap about, we're being censored?
I think it's just an absolute load of rubbish, isn't it? He hasn't been censored, as I said a few minutes ago. He has had free reign more than probably a lot of executives on productions over the last few years. And are you telling me that anybody else would have been able to do to Doctor Who what he was able to do? They would have been told no. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Quickly. I mean, he's destroyed the brand in 2 seasons. I mean, that is Chris Chibnall didn't do that. So yeah, this was the vent of it here, and then of course, just so everybody can see the proper evidence, they won't like this, they won't accept that, they won't like this, and that is the worst form of censorship that exists, because it censors an idea before it's never been shown to someone. And I sit here going, I'll never get a script on TV because of who I am and where I'm from. I'm a realist. We know that if I wrote a book and I sent it to many, many publishers, they'd probably go, no, you're not the demographic we're aiming at. Your story's not interesting. Have you got a different type of story that's very niche? We'll do it then. I kind of accept that because I'm a realist and I'm a pragmatist. But he's yapping on about censorship. It's everywhere, mate. A lot of us have to come up with a YouTube channel to be heard. Hello, get with the script. But of course, he wrote a script in Doctor Who about us lot, didn't he? Us conspiratorial, nasty people.
Well, when he talks about censorship, I also bring up the fact that, and you mentioned about YouTube, is a few years ago during the pandemic, people were being cancelled off of Netflix because they were going against the narrative, which a lot of it has been proven to be true. And so much so, within the last 2 weeks, YouTube and Google have actually come out and admitted that they were censoring people and they were cancelling people. They've admitted it. It's fact. So when he talks about censorship, what he really means is it's only about censorship when it affects him and the people that think like him, not the other way around.
Yeah.
That's it, exactly.
I think he's frightened because there's a political tide, which might mean he's not well in. He won't get away with what he's been getting away with. But the rest of us, remember, are living within guidelines and rules. I tell you what, most broadcasters have Ofcom. We on YouTube have to be very careful. We're censoring ourselves now, believe it or not, aren't we? Duncan here, he's not been censored. People have finally caught up with his BS. And this is the truth. I think for the first time he's had a hissy fit because somebody has actually said, no, you're not doing a good job. And he's gone, why, darling? And all of a sudden they've gone, well, let's call it compliance. They're saying, you're going to have to change some of those scripts for season 3 if you're hanging around, mate. What? You can just see it. And he'll probably, when the statement comes out, he'll probably say he flounced out. No, you got that. Disney was furious. We were furious. And I tell you what, he doesn't like censorship. What does he say about fans who criticize him? He clear off.
Yeah. Well, it was, mate, as well. Don't forget, and you brought it up on your channel at the time. But remember, before season 1 started, he said you've got to be a very tough person to say no, say no to me. Yeah. So by his own admission, then he wasn't being censored. He was pretty much being told he could do whatever he wants. Exactement.
Rob Fellows, but he's complaining about being stopped from doing what he's just done. Does he mean he wanted to make Who More extreme? Is he getting a new show on Channel 4 censored? He's got a show on Channel 4. Have you, John? Have I? Has anyone else? No. What's this moaning about? And I tell you what, it just seems to be Target audience. It's an awards ceremony. Do you say thank you? Do you reflect on where TV's gone, or do you go, "We're all scared of Trump. We're all scared of Farage." And you think, "Oh, for God's sake, come on! You're supposed to be the sci-fi visionary." I mean,
Yeah.
this wasn't a great speech by a science fiction writer who thinks about the future in a very clever conceptual way. This was somebody running politically scared.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is I mean, again, the BBC, thankfully, as you were saying a few minutes ago, mate, they've woken up to the fact, and they said, well, hang on a minute, we are going to remove you from this production. Because why? Because you've tanked our deal with Disney, you've tanked our viewership, you've tanked our merchandise sales, and you've made us a laughing stock, and you've also made our relationship, potentially by alleged rumors, that with Disney, very difficult, because you weren't actually taking calls from Disney.
Yep.
So all of that has caused us a lot of problems that is going to take us a long time to repair. So yeah, you're done. You're down the road now.
He's wasted hundreds of millions of pounds on a dud, not a moderate success,
Yeah.
an absolute hell nightmare of a failure with 100 million. If you give me 100 million, I've never made a TV program, but look at what we all do on YouTube with no money. I mean, I'm sorry, 100 million. If you take it seriously, you could spend it in clever ways. I tell you what, Mr. Squinty Mint, I agree with him to a point, and I love pushback. I do. Here we go, sense fear. I agree with him to a point. Surely there has been compliance to representation and identity politics. We should be applauding this realization, not being contrary because it's him. Okay, well, there's more to show you. And of course, Squinty Mint, I'm linking it to the scripts in the show, because there's one thing being political in your part-time, but basically, has he imposed almost exactly what he thinks in the show? And is that, in one respect, lazy? Is that, in one respect, wrecking the brand? And is that actually out of order and irresponsible? We all need compliance. I said that at the beginning, Squinty Mint. We've all had bosses. We've all had people who make sure you adhere to policies. So we're not whinging about compliance. We're whinging about somebody whinging about compliance when actually they've had quite a free ride for quite a long time.
100%. And, I mean, this is the same guy. This guy is a walking something or other. It's gone out of my head now, but
Former showrunner.
Yeah, former showrunner. But he contradicts himself so often as well. I always remember the famous thing before he came back to Doctor Who. I think it was a year or two before it was announced, where he said only gay people could play gay characters in programs, and then it's like, well, no, that doesn't quite work. And then he broke his own rules. So he likes to come out with these comments every now and again, and he's consumed by his own self-importance, and I think it is starting to dawn on him now that he isn't the dunking, the goal scoring machine that he thinks he once was. He's actually got a big loss on his resume now, and as you will probably know more than me by talking to your source, a big loss on a resume, that doesn't go down too well, especially when someone's looking to bring someone in for a new commission.
And then this bit, his kind of big hooray in the speech, which apparently he planned, because he writes so many speeches, and he got an outstanding contribution to drama. We need an ITV that is literally independent television. We need a Channel 4 that is Channel 4. We need a BBC, which is standing for the Big Balls Corporation. And then, of course, the bit that have got him bedwetting, basically. So now with the danger that is coming towards us, indisputably coming towards us, are we on the brink of war? Are we on the brink of bankruptcy, Britain? More like...
Look, But Brendan, you don't understand. This is the most dangerous time ever for the LGBT community. They are literally being boxed in. There's Daleks, Cybermen, Sontarans. They're being surrounded by all of them. They're literally there the second you look out your window. It's very, very scary, Brendan. You know, we need to remember this.
I am very scared of being lynched by the Hoopettes because they don't get paid. They're on net zero
Well,
contracts.
neither do I.
Yeah. So just to give you a pregnant pause, everybody, if that's suitable, I'm doing something at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm trying to think what it is. Urgent message to all sense-free agents. Incoming exclusive. Where did I hide those mucky movies from Dirty Dave? Stinking Jehoshaphat, I thought it was a wife. I'm trying to find some Doctor Who missing episodes for Walkie. You know those 60s classics that had most hiding behind the sofa? Or in Walkie's case, wetting the carpet behind the sofa. Well, this week we have an exclusive interview with Philip Morris.
I wasn't a huge fan when the series came back with Christopher Eccleston, but I think for him it was a mistake to come back.
The very man who found Web of Fear.
You get to a point where you start recycling your own ideas. If you can't define what Doctor Who is, then go and make another show because you don't understand the formula. The formula that was set out in '63.
And enemy of the world.
You're trying to indoctrinate children here. I'll be honest with you. The retcon of Darrow, I thought that was a joke. I think Russell has run out of ideas.
Who knows if he's found more? Only on the Censored. Don't go missing in action. Stay tuned, Censorites, and we'll keep you posted. Now where is that blue movie? So Wednesday, 8 o'clock, I've got the questions locked in. Be there or be square, as they say. So yes, he continued to argue. I tell you what, in a moment, we'll play the speech one more time just beside us so you can interrupt it. And then we're going to go to the Doctor Who clips and this juicy quote. But anyway, we need a Netflix that is not enough trans films in it, love. Oh, he was genius, that. He thought that was funny, that. We've seen in America what is happening. What's happening in America?
Well, apparently there's some sort of far-right uprising in the United States that only certain people with a certain lens can see, apparently.
Oh, well, maybe sci-fi visionaries can maybe write about it in a series, maybe. Yeah. How the government is attacking the media, right? How the government is attacking the media. Okay.
Can I just push back on that again? I think who he's referring to now is Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
And about Jim, that's who he's alluding to, isn't it? But a few years back, I remember in the US, you had Roseanne Barr cancelled.
Yeah.
You know, in the United States because of some stuff that she said. But, you know, it was crickets from this lot, wasn't it? It's only when it affects people that think the same as them, there's suddenly an attack on freedom of speech.
And John, if they want to apply these rules, I want them applied everywhere. I'm fully aware, and the thing I'm most angry about regarding the politics of now is there is a school teacher in Yorkshire who is in hiding with his family.
Yes.
Because he taught a lesson. And I don't see all these whinge bags on TV saying a word about that.
No.
And I am shocked that somebody just doing their job, not doing ego, just doing their job, everybody has forgotten them. Everybody. Is he writing a drama about a teacher who lost their job and is in hiding? Nah. He's waffling on about made up nightmares. I tell you what, he thinks he's been censored. He thinks the world is turning against him. What the hell does that teacher think?
I know. And again, it's, it's him and it's people like Tennant as well that, when the Conservatives were in power, everything was the most evil things that they've ever seen in their lifetime. But ever since Labour have come in, like you're saying, it's been absolute crickets on all the stuff that they've done over the last year and a bit.
But be bothered about just working people who get abusive parents suddenly and then are in hiding. How
Yeah.
can we be proud of that in a Britain of today? But nobody's saying a bloody word about it. And as an ex-teacher, I just think it's disgusting. And all you hear from the showrunners and the producers and TV writers is toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity. Men are terrible. And you're thinking, listen, there's a man in hiding because he taught a blooming lesson. Can you lot all get with the script and actually look out for people who are less powerful than you? Paul Ashworth, RTD behaves like a spoilt little girl with a big pink dummy. He wants everything his own way, or the rattle gets thrown out the plate. I mean, no, I nearly used the Aussie phrase, a dummy spit. That's what he's done, a dummy spit. And just while I can see there's so many people, Grant G, you're saying, will there be getting more Who-Pets today? There's a special cliffhanger. I have changed it. Last time the shooty Who-Pet died. This time, who dies? It's at the end, you know, the cliffhanger, done by Garbage Who, so look out for that. And yes, we'll have various other bits as well. So as he says, they're literally sacking people. Now, Jimmy Kimmel is the one you're saying, and other people are sacked very quietly. What about, what was he? He was the newsreader, and he texted something. He quoted Shakespeare, and he lost his job, remember, from ITN?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear RTD say a bloody word. So I heard nothing. And he was quoting Shakespeare.
Yeah, and I saw it as well. Sort of Mr. Squinty meant just to respond. Good to see you. Just to respond to what you said. There's plenty on the left who can't stand Labour. They've set up YouTube channels to get heard, though. Yeah, fine, I accept that. But what I'm saying is the hypocrisy of these people that are in these high positions, because if they truly believed by their principles that this was wrong, they would be calling out what was happening to these people, but they're not, because it goes against what they believe with this government.
And can we just, I can see John Barrowman's name here from Donkey Evans, but let's just talk about another one, Chris Eccleston. Chris Eccleston was kind of cancelled, censored,
blacklisted
people mourning. Isn't it so ironic? Chris Eccleston spoke up for the little people in the organisation who were having to deal with all the pressure from the ego monsters at the top. Chris Eccleston stood up for them, and for that he got cancelled. In other words, his voice was censored. How dare you, RTD? How dare you?
Well, again, you know, to jump in on John Barrowman, mate. While I was in Italy last week, I watched the latest video he's done in the last couple of weeks on Inside of You in the US. And look, I don't agree with what Barrowman did, but Barrowman says in the interview again, he says, all these people that suddenly have now got a problem with it, they were there standing watching me while I was naked on set. And he said, where they used to go to the trailer to change into, they had like something to cover up their genitalia, I think he was saying. Instead of doing that, he just thought, I don't want to go back to I'll just stand on set and be naked. And the execs would come down, they would find it hilarious what he was doing, all of that, have a nosy. And he said, and then what he found was that he was almost alluding to the fact that it wasn't the official cancellation, it was the silent cancellation. So he would go to the Comic Cons and he said he'd be doing panels. He'd always done panels with people that were part of the Doctor Who community. And all of a sudden they weren't willing to do the panels with him. And it all moved on from there. And not one of these so-called people came out to say, and he said, they were there, they knew what happened. And he said, I was the one who actually mentioned it before they cancelled me. And he said, they were there, they knew what happened, and not one of them came out and said, that's not actually true, that didn't happen. And I'm not a fan of, you know, what he did, but again, there's a massive hypocrisy here about how they treat their own.
Yeah, my source said, I put it clearly to him once about this, and he said, no, you're spot on, Brendan. I said, this is just basically, in the media, anything goes until you're found out, and then you're on your own. He said, yeah, exactly. He said, it's going on all the time. They haven't got moral fibre and moral leadership, but if one of their own is found out, they won't look after you. You're ostracised. So in other words, yeah. Stop the virtue signaling, stop the lecturing, because I'm sorry, I'm not following you lot, because you lot are following yourself. You know, I'm sorry. No, not buying it at all.
Yeah.
So, I just thought I'd kind of lighten the load for a second, because, I talk to many people. Hello. Yeah, face of Bo, I killed him. Right, so they're literally sacking one person and literally suing them. And as has already been said in the thread, Jimmy Kimmel is back, so he wasn't sacked. And we all know in this country there are people who use that as a playbook. Oh, now we've got a murder mystery. Who is the person following the playbook according to RTD? Tumbleweed. Who could be following Trump in Britain? Who could he be talking about?
It's a funny one, isn't it? I can't think of who. Who is the great Dark Lord that is rising up in the UK? Who is Sauron?
Yeah. It's a hard quiz, this. And look at it. He goes, somebody's using a playbook. I hate that phrase playbook. It's as if, there's this Bible of how to be a nasty authoritarian person.
Yeah.
That is coming this way. And by the way, this is our great esteemed showrunner. Look what he's just said here. There are people who are going to use this playbook in Britain. And then he says, that's a fact. No, it's not. They've got 5 MPs. Sorry, alert. Reform have 5 MPs. The Labour won with a landslide last year. And so what fact? And who's coming? What's this? The gathering storm of Chris Eccleston's doctor. What's all this dramatic language? Where? A fact. Does he know what a fact and fiction is?
It's again, it's the narrative of creating the great Dark Lord to scare people and to push the narrative, because the party that he supports have been in just over a year, and they've completely trashed everything. Their approval rating is in the floor, and they're failing. And just general decent UK people are basically going, do you know what? We've had enough of the Conservatives. We've had enough of Labour. We're going to go and vote for this party Reform and see how we get on this time. Might work, might not. There's no racial connotations to it at all. They're not racist people. They're just people that have said, we've tried these two for how long now? Now we need to try something different. If it doesn't work, we'll reevaluate afterwards.
You see, we've got friends on every part of politics in our thread. And we do you know, we want to watch Doctor Who. We don't want to get political, but the point is, he's going on about we've got scary authoritarian people coming our way, just like in America. But I just want to say to RTD, listen, if you're scared of an election where somebody wins who you don't like, are you scared of democracy?
Yeah.
And why would I follow you then? I'm sorry, if you don't like the democratic vote, I think you're an anti-democrat. And if you and you're a spoil sport as well. Oh no, our team didn't win, and so you lot can't do what you want. Sorry, you're so anti other people's opinions. It feels like being a Doctor Who fan. Sorry, what you're doing with Doctor Who? No, you lot don't count. Your vote doesn't count. That's how it feels.
I've just got an idea that, you know, he's watches Genesis of the Daleks every single night, and he's like sat there watching the bunker scenes, and he's like, it's coming true, it's not within the next few years. What am I going to do? I'll bite my nails. Which
is why, and he only sent it in just a while back, but this is why we've got him hiding behind the settee. He's scared of life. So let's just cheer. I can't cheer up. I'm going to be as on it as you can. So basically, quite clearly, he's moaning about overly restrictive oversight. You know, you can't do that. Fear-driven decision making, self-censorship, and the threat to creative freedom. I can come back to them later, but I just want to remind everybody. This is what he said a while back in 2024. I want to think about where we are in the world and what's happening to the world. It's very important to bring that to it. But I do that automatically. I don't have to put too much thought into it, and I feel very trusted by the BBC and Disney Plus to let my voice be heard. They don't stop me. Nothing's ever censored or challenged. It's a very fruitful relationship. Can I just let that sit there for a second? He's just done a 2-minute speech about the dangers of censorship, and there he's just said, I wasn't censored. So what are you talking about? Are you telling me that you're worried that in the future you might have to behave?
Yeah, exactly that. You know, it's it just the guy is just insufferable, and I really hope that he does go away. I think to be honest with you, a lot of it that's coming out now is he realizes that he has tarnished his legacy. He's probably thinking now that he shouldn't have come back, because I think if he'd never come back to Doctor Who, he would still have a pretty good legacy with Doctor Who fans because of what he did 2005 onwards. But as we know, he all came back to do one thing and one thing only.
Well, yeah, he had an agenda. Now, Stephen Bellow, and you're answering Terrified Monk in our thread. I'm tired of the fear-mongering from either side. I'm done. This is what I mean. Number one, this is Doctor Who, and I'm sorry, don't hoist all this crap onto Doctor Who. But two, when it comes to debate, we're losing the art of debate. We saw that in America, and it's happening here. And can I just say, yeah, I know, you might be Labour, you might be Liberal, you might be Tory, you might be Reform, you might be anything. On here, we're all friends. And yes, every side has their bad eggs. Every side at the moment is trying to do with a fear-mongering. I can't stand it. I'd like some intellectual debate about the future of the country and the future of Doctor Who. But no, you don't get it. You get wild talk. If I bring it back to Doctor Who, instead of...
And sound bites. Yeah.
Yeah, you get, go and touch grass. Jinx Monsoon said, shut the effing door behind you. You know, RTD has said but countless things about, you know, this is how it is now and all the rest of it, and it's dark times and dangerous times. Anyway, since this is a Doctor Who channel, I just want to show you, I'm not just showing you what he said in one speech. Let me just think. He just wrote season 2. His anger, let me just show you a little bit of it. Get the tone right, and then I'll just butt it. Don't worry, I won't wreck it all for you.
Times get tough, TV gets timid, and you all know how hard it is to deal with compliance. And I'm not blaming the people in compliance. They work very hard and have a tough job to do. I do blame their bosses for getting scared. And I can feel it. I've literally had experience of this. The compliance is getting tough. You can't say this, you can't say that. You have to balance it. No, you don't have to balance it. It's like you can just be strong and say.
So basically, he sounds a little bit angry, doesn't he, John?
He does, yeah.
So
it's a dark time for him. You know, he's lost the golden goose, isn't he?
So if everyone remembers that tone of voice, now I'll link it to Doctor Who. T. Davies and Juno Dawson's progressive wet dream of making this incarnation of the Doctor sadistic, vindictive, ruthlessly clinical in his ugly, angry outbursts, aimed particularly at their arch nemesis, white men with a view contrary to their own, has caused strong, heated debate amongst fans and divided fandom big time since the Interstellar Song Contest was aired on Saturday, the 17th of May. Now, apparently, the Doctor is allowed to behave like some tyrannical torturer, like some by-generated Darth Sidious, like some angry British fisherman after being sold down the river by the British government in our latest capitulation to the EU, like some possessed police officer with a twitchy taser. Oh yes, didn't we have a recent moment where RTD rejoiced in Lucky Day's script in the impetuous use of tasers? Yeah.
Hot taser lady.
Yes, he's allowed to behave in such an undoctorly way because he got a touch of hypothermia. He got icicles growing on his... becoming our very own galactic Mr. Freeze.
You will put ice in my heart, darling, and I will stand and watch you freeze.
Our own Captain Birdseye with a vindictive, twitchy fish fingers in that mavity glove. Who knew that torturing people you don't like for prolonged periods of time is permitted if the progressives approve of your concocted cause?
Well, that's all right then.
Who knew? What happened to those liberal virtues that have proliferated our prisons and justice system? I, for one, not just kid, was stunned. But look, it's okay. Calm down, everyone. The doctor used the get out of jail immunity card excuse. He was triggered.
The death of 3 trillion people triggered me.
The potential death of 3 trillion people meant he felt truly warranted in applying.
How about we try this 3 trillion times?
So, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth is back in the lexicon of the progressive writers of our current media elites. You can't keep up. The shifting sands of virtue swapping, the sliding tectonic plates of moral codes. Keep up, folks. I found this presentation of the Doctor out of character, unbecoming of a designated hero in a family drama, and overzealous in its delivery and exposure of time on the torture. 1 minute of the 47 minutes was pure Doctor torturing a man on the floor. By the way, how cowardly of our hero Doctor to torture and tase a kid as a hologram. Queensberry rules? I think not. I think not. So, John, just as that was a nice reminder for me to link it to Doctor Who, I feel as though I know who wrote Doctor Who now, an angry man.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, when you're playing that clip back and you look at it and you think, there's nothing about the Doctor at all in any of those scenes, is there? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, it's written for him to howl into the wind at the people that he doesn't like. And you're right. It's a bitter old man who wants to say air is peace, but not write compelling Doctor Who. And that's why we got into the trouble we did.
So my question is, were we seeing in that Interstellar Song Contest an example of the Doctor being like RTD? I know Juno Dawson wrote it, but wrote it with RTD, let's be honest, all holding his hand. So let's come back here. RTD and the Doctor seem very similar. Anger management issues. They are seeing shadows and ghosts where there are none. Fear mongering. I'm up against all you lot out there, and all that stuff. And I've got loads of examples of this, but you saw there the cruelty and the nastiness. And we've both done streams where he has done other shows where he has said in award ceremonies and chats, he's talked about, we've thought about if Trump has a heart attack. And you think, dear God, where do you go with your discussion about democracy, mate? And didn't Julie Gardner, Jane Tranter, and others, when they hear him talk in the pub with them, go, we can't have him running the show. We can't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think everything that he says just makes you think he is consumed by bitterness now. And I think it's even more so now that he's lost the golden goose. And I'd be interested as well to find out when it is officially announced who had to let him go, because that could potentially break a very close friendship as well, couldn't it?
I think they had to let him go to save their own skin. You know how this works. If we say we're loyal to RTD, our best mate at Bad Wolf is with him. Well. Now, I've had enough people say to me that Disney's gone, RTD's gone, Bad Wolf's gone. I don't know the Bad Wolf thing, because I'm aware of more talks and stuff. By the way, when everybody says Disney's gone, RTD's gone, Bad Wolf might be gone, remember, contractually, nobody's gone, because it's still got 2 years left. It's just that we're not going to get anything, that's all. But Bad Wolf would have to cauterize him. Yeah, sorry, RTD, you're our best mate. You're still on our Christmas card list. But to save our company and maybe keep us in the game for Doctor Who, we're going to have to let you go fast.
Yeah. off you go to TikTok or
Julie,
TikTok, whatever it is.
Julie and Jane, is this because of compliance? Have they had a word? Didn't they like my season 3, season 4, and season 5 Christmas special? No, they didn't. And we don't think your scripts are going to pick, cut the mustard, because with a new, very dangerous government right round the corner, we're worried that the show might just coincide with that, and we're worried that we might be said, "Oh, censorship, darling."
And then he goes, well, this is outrageous. Give me the Disney data. Well, Russell, two things. One, you really don't want to see the Disney data. And two, we tried to get the Disney data to you on several occasions, but you wouldn't take our calls. So I'm afraid, you're going to have to skedaddle, I'm afraid.
And I think we all know there's PR going on, because Prince William was there the other day. I mean, I think he was the tallest person ever in the TARDIS, wasn't he? To be honest, he looked more like a doctor than you just think, Prince William, can you be the next Doctor? Because number one, you're a man. Number two, you're very, tall, masculine, sporty, and
do you know what I would have taken, all the jokes back in the day about Paul Daniels was going to be the next Doctor. I'd even go so far as to reanimate Paul Daniels and have him as the Doctor now, because at least that would be safer than what they would come up with.
Well, Paul Daniels, son of Middlesbrough, I'll always support him. He was great on Saturday nights, but Paul Daniels' wig would do a better job than Ned Shooty that were. More acting. So
he's got bad knees. You got to be kind to him, mate. He's got bad knees. Come on.
Oh, I know. I wonder what he was doing. So basically, but you see, this is the whinge bag called RTD, and he said recently in that your Manchester interview, he said this is what he said: if you're making a drama for, say, 5 parts that someone is basically handing you £10 million, no one gives you it without conditions. No one. There's always notes. There's always got things to. Yeah. I think it's called TV. So he's basically, when he was calm talking to a drag queen about his career, he just said, this is the norm. There's conditions. You get no freebie in this job, Why is he now angry on a stage? The only thing I can see, John, that's changed is there might be the gathering storm of some different political organisation in a few years that he doesn't like. It's all I can think of.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it could also be along the lines of that same organization potentially talking about defunding the BBC as well, removing the TV license, which is something he's a big fan of. But I've said to you before, mate, the BBC needs to lose that license. I think everything we've seen of Doctor Who in the last decade is just exhibit A on why they shouldn't be getting the license fee anymore. It's terrible. I mean, the quality is so subpar now. It really is. But then again, you could argue that we weren't actually watching Doctor Who over the last few years, were we? It was something completely different.
John, I vomited in one of my last show, but nobody saw it. Sound effects available. Audio's out soon. Popcorn Power says, let's be fair, Prince William already has a job. Luckily, his brother Harry is available and loves acting, and his wife Meghan is a professional actress. Billie Piper could turn into Meghan. Oh, God. Thanks for that, Popcorn. You've given me nightmares now.
If Russell ever came back, that we're getting a Doctor Who, Mrs. Brown's Boys crossover. That's inevitable. That's likely to happen without a doubt,
I thought I'd seen that in the last 2 seasons. I've had a drag queen. So this is the torturing Doctor for 1 minute of TV. Family drama, as Joe always says. Family drama. You sat down with the kids, and the Doctor, your leader, like the Sith, as somebody else said, is just torturing and butchering and kicking somebody when they're on the floor. All the things that teachers, parents, everybody would kick off about. Even when it's a fair 50-50 fight, when somebody's on the floor, it's a low blow to keep going, isn't it?
Well, it's ridiculous. I mean, but then when you go back to his first iteration of Doctor Who, when you look at the Doctor's daughter and he picks up the pistol and he holds it to the guy's head, And then he puts it down and he says to him, I never would, you know, and he has a go at him. That's the Doctor there. He might get angry, but he's saying, I never would. There's been a few exceptions in Doctor Who where he has killed with a gun because it's self-defense. But this is a whole new level of where he took it, whereby this was a character who was actually delighting in the torture of another being in the universe. You know, that's not the Doctor at all. You know, the Veil Yard, yeah, that I could see, but not the Doctor. Unbelievable. And well, again, why didn't people push back on that? Why didn't people go, maybe Russell?
Because
he's got freedom.
Because this is what Chris Eccleston and John Barrowman's told us, and the sources told us, that basically you can get away with whatever you want in the media, but if you're caught, nobody will be your friend then, and you're on your own. Yeah. It's the great education I'm finding. Popcorn Power, and I'm educating you, aren't I, Popcorn Power? Russell talking to a drag queen. Seriously, I've had a hard time believing that Russell wasn't using the BBC as his casting couch. Wash your mouth out. I mean, he's an outstanding drama winner. But that shot there is, I think, I mean, we could have a debate about it.
Well, that's maybe why I want to call it Big Balls Corporation.
Well, yeah, it already is. I mean, Verity Lambert found it a Big Balls Corporation, and Boris Hussein, who was gay, found it very difficult as well. You know, it was a boys' club. So, RTD, go away.
Yeah.
And Verity Lambert managed in A Man's World, didn't she? Very nicely, telling Sydney Newman, Daleks should be there, etc., etc. But can I just say, John, in An Unearthly Child, I think it's part 3, part 4, you know when the Doctor holds the rock?
Yep.
And everybody goes on about that bit. Look at that shot there. I think on the screen is the worst shot in Doctor Who of the Doctor's behaviour.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, as I was saying a couple of minutes ago, he's gone dark before, but he's never crossed that line. And the Doctor never would. You know, that the Doctor pulls himself back from it. You know, that's the difference between him and the Master, isn't it? The Master quite happy to step over that line, whereas the Doctor's meant to be the one who, when he's under pressure, when he's backed into a corner, he uses his intellect and he finds a way. This is sadistic torture of somebody else, you know. And again, he wrote this with his lens on of, I'm going to talk about the people that I don't like, instead of, and that was one of his failures, as opposed to going, do you know what? I'm going to focus my lens on actually writing a very entertaining Doctor Who story that's going to engage people. That should have been the first priority, but it didn't. What he believed overrode writing a Doctor Who story. And this is where we are now. This is why Doctor Who's in such a bad state.
Yeah. Now, the torture scene is the key moment, isn't it? AFJ here. That torture scene was inexcusable. It totally subverted the character. But it was written by an angry man. You just saw evidence of that. And I think that's the problem. The Peter Venkman, that makes Sylvester's Doctor at his nastiest so tame. Yeah, I know what you mean. Duncan Evans, I think that torture scene was even making the RTD2 shills think twice. It has to have. But my big question is, there was compliance. There was a chance of censorship of his scripts. They allowed this, and he's whinging now. Get over. You got away with murder, basically, RTD. So don't you start whinging now. You know, Tomboy Chick, dare I say the torture was yet another sexualized element of Shooty's era Who. You can say that. I couldn't possibly comment. As Julie says, this was a weak, vulnerable character being tortured by our Doctor. It's hard to watch, and I will never watch it again. I know what you mean. None of us, now remember, because of the profession I was in, you sometimes saw a kid on the floor in the playground, you know, and sadly, you might see a crowd, and you sadly might see somebody still doing something to that kid on the floor. Yeah. And none of us on the planet would say that you can't deal with that. It's upsetting. but we watched it on primetime TV drama, and he's now got an outstanding drama award for what?
Well, exactly right. And you know, the example I give to this is, and this is when better writers were writing Doctor Who. You go back to Genesis of the Daleks. The Fourth Doctor is sat there, and he's watching Harry and Sarah being tortured if he doesn't give up the information, right? Then when he's alone with Davros, he turns his life support off, but then turns it back on again. So everything that he saw happen to his companions, he still didn't go to the place this Shooty Gatwa character went to and tortured Davros or killed Davros. He stepped back from it. That's the Doctor. This is not the Doctor.
No.
Looking at that now, that doesn't strike me at all as Doctor Who. I could be talking about something completely different.
I don't even know where to start. I'm not one of them not my doctor's fans.
Yeah.
I'm not. But I did have a show when I said this is not my Doctor. There's no way the Doctor and the Doctor I've watched for 62 years would ever consider this, even if he's plagued in the mind or something. Mr. Squinty Mint, the seeds of this began in 2005 with the shift in stories being about the Doctor rather than being resolved by the Doctor. I think that's a very insightful point, actually.
Very good, because I have felt since 2005 how many times, and I need to go back and watch it again, but how many times have we seen the Doctor solve the problem with his intellect? You know, probably on one hand you could probably pick out a few examples, but Mr. Squintyman makes a very good point there. So I salute that, sir.
Yeah, it's certainly, and this is what I mean. We've all got insights now. Of course, my case study doesn't finish. We saw the anger of Russell T Davies when he gets an award. I mean, chill out, mate. And then we've got this scene, which was the angry man, the toxic masculine. And
you steal our bandwidth.
Yeah. And this is when it was telling us lot to shut up, wasn't it? So I'll just remind everybody that I'm not just saying I've got an issue with him whinging about politics. I'm relating it back to the show. Now, here we go. This was the scene. You have to be invited into my TARDIS to be special, but you're special for all the wrong reasons. Oh, please tell me why. Please tell me why. You see, I'm fighting a battle. Oh, God, doesn't it sound like RTD? I'm fighting a battle on behalf of everyday people, not the teacher in Yorkshire and other people like that. No, forgotten. Who just want to get through their day. That teacher in Yorkshire just wanted to get through his day.
Absolutely.
And feel safe. He doesn't feel safe now, but I don't see any dramas about it. And warm and fed. And then along comes this. Now, this really riled me as a Democrat, and somebody wants debate. And you can mention Charlie Kirk, God rest his soul. You can mention the fact that debate has two sides or even three sides.
Yep.
You can never dismiss your opposer in a debate as noise. And on top of that, the Doctor, our leader, said it was relentless. It's like saying you're yapping. Have you ever been in an argument and somebody says, "Oh, shut up with your wittering or your yapping," and it's so insulting. But the Doctor has now joined in this bully boy brigade. Relentless noise. John, I don't like your politics. It's relentless noise.
Exactly. I mean, this is the problem, because look, Russell T Davies. I don't like Russell T Davies. I don't like hearing about Russell T Davies, but he has the right to say what he wants to say. Okay. Just as we all have the right to say what we want to say. The trouble is, what I'm finding at the moment with him in particular is the fact that he is basically saying, and you're right, you could literally take Shooty out of that and just put a Photoshop of Russell T Davies into it, because he's basically saying, I don't agree with how you think or how you live your lives. You're an annoyance to me. I wish you would just shut up and go away. That's it in a nutshell. And it's like, so you're putting that out in a show where you've got a time traveler, a time lord from the planet Gallifrey, who, as I've said many times before, the Doctor never got involved in all of the small stuff. You know, I remember Day of the Daleks, where the Doctor says to the Brigadier, humans are always squabbling about something, and he's not remotely interested in it, you know. And then he only gets involved when the Brig says it's potentially leading to a third world war. The Doctor is involved with the big things, and that's making sure the planet is still spinning. And he's not involved in, you know, whether you believe, pronouns, if you support this political party or the other. He doesn't care, because all he's going to do is fix the problem. He's going to get back into his TARDIS. He's going to dematerialize, and he's going to go somewhere else. That's what the Doctor does. And this is why we were all nervous about it before the season even started. But this is just pure activism for Russell T Davies.
And sadly, it was badly written, because, as Duncan Evans says here, Conrad run the argument. Now, when I started the show today, I said, we've all seen a teacher who's lost the classroom. And as a kid, it's great entertainment, isn't it? Oh, they've lost it. Whoa, here we go. Now, the Doctor was given all this bile in the TARDIS. He grabbed him from his prison cell, Conrad, and plonked him there to give him a lecture. And when you watch that scene, Conrad stays quiet and calm and silent. And I'll tell you who has the power in that scene. It's Conrad. Conrad doesn't lose his temper. And therefore, it makes our Doctor look weak, look pathetic, look vindictive, just look the lesser man. And this, therefore, was a very poorly structured scene. Let me just remind everybody how this pans out a bit. Remember, he starts calling names, our Doctor. Cowards like you, weaponizing lies. Now, remember, I started with RTD doing a speech saying the world's doomed, and that's a fact, and it isn't. So he was lying. Taking people's insecurity and fears, like RTD did in that awards ceremony, saying something's going to come and it's going to be bad, and making it currency. So he's talking about himself. You are exhausting. I'll just add the words RTD. You stamp on the truth. You choke our bandwidth with your rubbish Doctor Who stories, and you shred our patience because we keep turning up every week and we're going, it's crap again. Because the only strategy you have is to wear us down, because you're the showrunner who wants to crap all over 62 years of Doctor Who. Whether it's colour. But the thing is, Conrad, oh, sorry, we've got the wrong names, haven't we? But the thing is, Conrad, I have energy to burn and all the time in the universe. Sorry, mate, you've left the TARDIS and RTD's been sacked. That didn't last. You died. Go on, sorry.
So I was just going to say, mate, you know, with what you're putting up there, and very, very excellent points you're bringing up tonight. If you're a military organization on the Earth, you would be looking at this and you'd be going, do you know what? I'm not so sure this guy's a friend of ours. He sounds like more like a would-be dictator or enemy in the, the oncoming storm, because everything he's basically saying is it's my way or the highway. I don't give a stuff what you lot think. Your world will be like how I want your world to be. And again, that's like Russell. That's Russell's avatar there, without a doubt. But that's what he's saying. I mean, I could understand it if it's the Master. If the Master was saying this, I'd be like, yeah, that fits. He wants to take over the planet. But this guy, he's angry because this guy's putting out a podcast that doesn't broadcast the same thoughts that he wants projected.
And the Doctor, look, we come on in the thread. I mean, we can lighten this as well. We can all think of a moment in Doctor Who when the Doctor rose right above it all. He almost was aware there were deaths going on, but he saw the bigger picture. And the greater humanitarian in the Doctor came through. And sometimes the companions got parochial, but the Doctor was the bigger person. He could see the whole of time and space. And you can think of loads of moments in Doctor Who when that happened. So why has the great custodian of Doctor Who resorted to making our Doctor vindictive, a bedwetter, a scaremonger who is seeing shadows everywhere, who is so I mean, this is sadistic. I've just shown you the torture scene, but he then says in words, "You die. I'm a Time Lord, and I know when you die. 49 years old, you boil in anger and poison." This could be RTD. Alone and unloved and forgotten. Do you know what? The more you look at this speech that was a misfire in Doctor Who, well acted, by the way, by both of them in a way. It was I found it a well-directed scene, but it was a misfire of epic scale, because I'm sat here going, this is all RTD. This is RTD's feelings. This is RTD's anger. This is RTD. We've all said he has ambushed Doctor Who and sabotaged Doctor Who. He's become Doctor Who.
Yeah. He's literally, he's pasted himself into the series, isn't he? As the primary character.
Is that ego?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Is that ego?
It's mega ego. And, you know, it's what is it you said? I'm paraphrasing, but, you know, during that documentary with Julie Gardner and co, said, oh, he's great, but he's also other times he's like the pits of hell. You know, so it all tags, doesn't it, to the responses we're getting now and the writing we got.
I don't think he gets a round in.
Yeah,
anyway, I'll cheer everybody up for a second. It's my job. I'll go there, but I'll also need to lighten it. Here we go. There you go. Classic Who and a little bit of humour. All thanks to Garbage Who. Give him a subscription. He's making more, and he's a whiz kid with AI now.
It's great. Yeah.
Check him out. There's lots of good humour. He really pleased our Joe the other night when he had the Mr. I always get it wrong. The 18, Mr. T, is it?
Yeah. A pitiful.
Oh, it was great. So, just to show you that the content just keeps coming, I tell you what, make me the Doctor Who version of Andrew Neil and get me in a room with RTD, please.
Oh, please make that happen, everybody.
I'd throw all these quotes back. So, here's his politics again. Maybe they are told they just don't listen because it's not what you want to hear. There are many terrible things happening. Here we go again. This was the Your Manchester. I mean, when we look out here, we are now practically living through a genocide and we're just planning what we're having for tea tonight. It's a very easy process not to look at anything. And then, of course, so the fight is on. I think it's disguised as a trans fight. They are all after us. You literally see it heating up day by day by day. You remember this scaremongering again? Scaremongering. We stand to have all our rights taken away. And again, right, somebody in Britain has had their rights taken away. They're in hiding. Yep. There's my prime example. You see, I'm very bothered about it. Where were the teaching unions? That lad was so let down. Absolutely disgusting. And I 100%. Think the country should be in uproar. Not a bloody word on the news. Calling everybody out on that one. Disgraceful in Britain. We don't care when somebody loses a job because some parents have a religion that don't like what was said. Bloody disgusting.
Well, I was going to say, mate, just jumping in, where he says about, you distort the truth. He distorts the truth here. That's what he's doing. He's projecting because he's distorting the truth about saying that it's, effectively it's the most dangerous time ever for LGBTQ people. No, it's not. It's not at all. It's dangerous for other people at the moment. And we've had that shown last week of what is going on in this country. And so much so, it's so bad about what's going on at the moment that you've got a horrible thing happened a couple of years ago, and people are protesting on the same day of the anniversary of it, you know, countering it. And again, they're free to do that. But, you know, when he talks about all of this, I think a great writer, you know, and someone mentioned Malcolm Hulke earlier, and I wish Michael Herbert was here, because Michael knows Malcolm Hulke inside and out. But every time I watch a Malcolm Hulke story, and we've talked about it before, mate, he writes a very intelligent story and he layers it, but he also makes you make the decision on what you believe. He doesn't tell you what to believe. That's the sign of a great writer, and it helps people to come together.
It's inclusive.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
It's inclusive. You know, we don't want diversity as in to make us divide. We want inclusion. And inclusion is what Malcolm Hulke was writing very effectively, very ably. What a different era this was.
Yeah.
And I may not have agreed with his politics, but it didn't matter. And he didn't offend me. He didn't offend me. And I tell you what, we are on October the 7th, and I'm very well aware where we are. And you think about it, the universities say they all want a safe space, but they are quite happy to do other stuff today. It's interesting, isn't it? What sort of safe space is... I don't think it's a safe space for everybody today. Again, inconsistency, please. Harry Bagg here. The doctor has tortured, been violent a few times. Problem is, Shooty's torturing is not motivated by anything. Harry, there was no payoff. Susan was flashbacking into his head, wasn't she? She was going, "Stop it! No."
I remember when you were reviewing it, and as you know, and we talked about it, I wasn't watching Doctor Who or even prepared to review it at the time. And you said to me about what had gone on, and we talked about it, and we said he must be setting up an arc, almost like a Valeyard type arc. Yeah. But you're right. You know, from everything that occurred, there was none of that at all. It was just to fit the narrative of that particular story.
And how foolish does he look now that arc isn't going to be finished? Susan ends up on the cutting room floor. That is that. I tell you, that's a sacking offence anyway. So it is a sackable offence.
It is, and to be honest, I made my peace with it a while ago, mate, because I didn't want Susan involved with this iteration of Doctor Who at all. I was quite happy to see her last in the 5 Doctors. I was happy. I'd made my peace a long time ago. If it had been 15 years ago, I'd have been, yeah, let's have Susan in, but I would be terrified, and I was terrified about what he was going to do with Susan, because he clearly couldn't be trusted with all the other Doctor Who toys, so he wasn't going to give Susan and the wonderful Carol Ann Ford any respect, was he?
No. As Terrified Monk says, and I hope it is, we will be passionate. We're passionate Doctor Who fans, but I have to say, if the censor ever makes anyone feel as though they've got to go away because they're not included, then I've failed. We will not all agree on politics, but we're not doing a political show. What dominates is Doctor Who. I don't like the way politics has crept into our show, and that gets us all kind of talking about stuff I don't really want to be doing on here. And this is what's so unfair. Doctor Who was our safe space. Yes, it had a message now and again, but well integrated into the story. But now it's been absolutely wrecked. Now, Grant G's telling me off, so let me just make sure Grant G's happy. Now, don't forget, Grant G, we end with a cliffhanger. Another Who pet will die. I know, there's something sicker. I've just talked about torture scenes and being sadistic. I'm sorry, I'm allowed it. It's my show. Excuse me. So anyway, you see a 2-minute speech by RTD, and it triggers me regarding, okay, there's your politics, but I also then see what he put into our show, and I'm also going, oh, and the show's not coming back. Oh, and is it because of you couldn't contain your anger, couldn't actually just look after our show and write some good scripts? Why did you come back if you really had no new ideas? It seems to me his new idea, if there were any, was to go mad about the right. That seems to be all he had. There was nothing else in the bag. Or we'll have a drag queen in one of them. But that was a non-event episode that could have been just put on the cutting room floor.
Omega for 30 seconds, a giant dog on top of a TARDIS. You know, these were so poorly sketched out ideas. You know, no wonder Disney probably saw that and they went, "What the $100 million?
They were
money laundering."
I'm no apologist for Disney, but they were gutted.
Oh,
they
were
gutted with what they saw in the rushes. What the hell is going on?
I think you've got to be a special kind of imbecile, to be honest with you, where arguably Disney are probably one of the most diverse companies on the planet, and even you have ticked them off, and they don't want anything to do with your show.
Well, Graham, my wife loves the Who pets. She's on her own. Don't tell him, or don't give them fan mail. I mean, I'm sorry, don't do that because I'd have to answer them. It's a bit like, you know.
Yeah.
Terrified Monk, if we don't like Brendan's show, we can always touch grass. You see, I get hay fever. I found that whole speech by Shooty problematic, little devil. How sadistic was that? Stephen O'Neill, Doctor Who needs to go back to basics, as it said in the Radio Times and Adventure. I always go back to that Mark Gatiss. Oh,
wonderful.
It makes me feel warm. I almost get upset, emotional. I want those. I'm not wanting 1963 back because I never lived in 1963, but I love the look of that era. I love the feel of it. I like the excitement of it. I like the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it was just about a story and a character, and he lost his job in the end, William Hartnell, and such wonderful. A pathos. Beautiful, beautiful story. He said it was a love letter to Doctor Who, and I think spot on Mark Gatiss on that one.
Yeah,
absolutely. 100%. And yes, I want that feel good. What would everybody watch tonight after watching this? What sort of Doctor Who are you going to watch? I think we've got Inferno to watch next. Ooh. That would, I know that might get me going. Brendan hit the nail on the head, and yet I'm really bad at carpentry. Who was a unifier? Not now, thanks to the outstanding showrunner who won an award. So yeah, that was the tricky bit there. Can I just show you? I'm going to make you feel good. I am.
You said we were alone here, trapped like this, like a sponge beneath the sea. I, Morbius, who once led the High Council of the Time Lords, now reduced to this. Who are you? Where have you come from? You one of the sisterhood?
I thought it was absolutely vital to do this. I'm so proud of the fact that I deserve an award, and I have problems with her, and lots of us on the production.
Now, remember that Garbage Who does those for me, and Garbage Who has delivered this cliffhanger with RTD on the rampage. We've got him sussed. He's so angry. Last reminder, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, 1-to-1. I'll be planning it all day with Philip Morris. I've got lots of questions. You've got lots of questions. There may have to be shonky chats tomorrow night, everybody, to get your space in there, because I think it's going to be full on. So that's definitely...
Well, you can ask him from me to, that hidden Dalek Master Plan complete collection that he's got, that he watches most weeks in his home. He needs to give that back, or at least get me a copy. Just tell him that from me, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he invites me round to see them. Forget everybody else. I just want to make sure I'm all right. Mr. Puzzled. I'd watch Creature and. I know. These are all lovely ones. Robots of Death, and I tell you what, you're trumping that one. Ooh, yeah. Sometimes I just want to binge watch. Grant G, I've got Invasion of Time to watch. Well, first I'm going to show you a cliffhanger with your precious Who pets. Stephen O'Neill, Inferno and Spearhead from Space on the Eden Channel tomorrow. But don't watch it when I'm talking to you-know-who. Julie Coonan's watching The Invasion. Oh, God, there's some tasty ones. Matthew is watching Colony in Space. They're all better than what I've been going on about tonight. We've got Robots of Death, the Daleks, a Cyberman mentioned, Planet of Evil, says it. Right, so that was the great RTD Sulk. claiming he's been censored by compliance. So get with it, mate. And John, before we go, I just want to say one more time to everybody, we have a whole sequence of the Who Pets with facing RTD on the Rampage to lead into our credits. So wait for a second. John, you're back from Italy, Sci-Fi Chronicle 79. What you're up to?
So I've got my Stargate SG-1 live watch parties on Sunday nights, 8:30 UK time, 12:30 PST in the US. And it's just good fun where we all watch the episodes together in Discord, and then we all comment along in the YouTube live chat. It's great fun. It's just a nice chilled way to spend a Sunday night. So if anyone fancies it, come and check out the channel and come say hello. Yeah, thank you.
There you go. John, always good value, building up his own channel. So Sci-Fi Chronicles 79, please give that a sub. Give Garbage Who a sub.
Yes.
And of course, no more talk from me about subs or anything. I think it's time for RTD to maybe have the final word. And he's not attacking me, he's attacking the Who Pets. So I'm quite happy that they're collateral damage. Are you ready? I think it's time. Sorry, folks. Bye for now.
See ya.
you tomorrow night. RTD wants Censored shut down. Those Who Pets have had the last hand up them. Time to die. This is giving me the creeps. This never happened on Finger Bobs. One by one, they're all mine. They don't like it up 'em. All this walking, I wish I had my Benidorm motor scooter. Cry havoc!